It is 12/24/2024. It is Christmas Eve. Thank you so much for being here. And we are going to be doing this a little bit different, of course, because of the holidays and everything else. You have got, yep. Hello, everyone. Good to see Gene. We'll let people get into the room. But yeah, we're going to go through it. I could have gone last night, but I know everybody is traveling and everything else. I thought it'd be better just to kind of put it all together. So it is ready in the morning around noontime, because at this time it's about 7, 8 o'clock. And also you can kind of tell with the holiday and everything else, things are kind of ramping down. So I went through and saw everything, and put it all together and just, so this is about 36 hours, but it's about as complete, and it'll probably take you through Christmas. And there are some things going, as the crisis report on Substack is entitled. It is called Preemptive Strike. There is a lot of chatter going on right now between the Israelis and the Americans about going after Iran preemptively. And the reason why is because they think that Iran is kind of in a bit of a corner. They don't have the proxies that they did, because Israel has done a lot of damage to those in Gaza and in Hezbollah, and then, of course, the fall of Syria. And so they're worried that they're a little bit of a cornered animal now, and are going to possibly really develop that nuclear program. And it would be better to go in now and get things started before that has fully come to fruition. So there's a lot of chatter about that. But we're going to keep going and talking about stuff. Syria is still going through changes, and a lot of the stuff that I've got to report to you today are not good changes. They're trying to make it seem like they're this international, group, and they're open, and everybody is, just welcome and yada, yada, yada. But when you peel back the covers, you really get to see that there honestly is about to be some pretty nasty changes. So we've got a lot of coverage of that right there, and it's totally up for grabs. So anybody thinking that everything is resolved in Syria is not really understanding the full picture. Turkey has got ideas. Israel has got ideas. America has got ideas. And, of course, Russia and Iran have ideas as well. They're also going through a major energy crisis in Iran right now. And so all of this is mixing for some major problems. A lot of the channels have said that there's going to be something major to go down before January 20th, 2024. So we're going to cover it all. We're going to get through it and get you all set up so you guys can focus and have a wonderful holiday. We want to say Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas for everybody that is celebratory in that. And the Festivus for the rest of us people. You should check out Rand Paul's government waste report called Festivus. I think he's got $1 trillion in different wastes that they're doing there. And so, yeah, we're all affected by that, whether we celebrate or not. So, all right, folks, it's about 4 minutes in. We're going to get started now. And this is your crisis report for Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2024, subtitled Preemptive Strike, ? And there will be no whoosh crack open, because we're still in coffee mode, okay? We're still got the coffee right there. So, all right, here we go. President-elect Trump, for purposes of national security and freedom, the U.S. feels that the ownership of Greenland is a necessity. Put a funny post out on my Subscribestar on Locals with an Amazon wish list that he's got, and Canada is on that list for Christmas, as well as the Panama Canal and Canada and Greenland. So big items that he would love to have. Canada's Trudeau losing support within this party, according to MPs. Japan will hand Google a cease and desist order over an alleged antitrust violation, the first move against the American tech titan. Oh, come on now. Google does everything perfectly. Jeez. Philippines said it had planned to acquire the U.S. Typhoon missile system as part of a push to secure its maritime interests, sparking warnings from China and regional arms race. Biden has commuted the sentences of 37 to 40 people on death row. Wonderful. I'm sure they're all just great human beings. So I've got the list of the 3 people that were not commuted, and we'll go through those here shortly. Huge Christmas Eve asteroid the size of 10-story building or 147 large African elephants will skim past Earth at 14,743 miles per hour, according to the Daily Mail. I think it's already gone by us, so hopefully. Japanese automakers Honda and Nissan have announced plans to merge. This is going to make the 3rd largest auto company in the world, and Mitsubishi will be joining in as well. So you're going to see the confluence of Honda, Nissan, and Mitsubishi as they become a global leader. Honestly, I think it's great. I've owned both Nissans and Honda vehicles, and they're good, solid vehicles for the most part. So hopefully that gets them still going. We don't want to see a loss in jobs or any more business closings. Sweden says China denied requests for prosecutors to probe ship linked to cut undersea cables. So I guess that's all wrapped up and good. Zelensky accuses Slovak Prime Minister of wanting to help Putin. Police arrest a man suspected of setting a woman on fire in New York City subway. That was covered on last night's Doom stream on PrepperNow, which I'm sure you got thousands of notifications for, on a platform of 2 billion people. Tube decided that they would send out a whopping 101 suggested videos for that one. So I'm so glad that they're doing that. It was so kind of them. I think that is 0.0000000000001% of the population here. Thank you, Tube. Awesome. All right, so he immigrated from Guatemala, and imagine that. So yeah, he's not an American. North Korea suffers 1,100 casualties in Russia-Ukraine war, according to Seoul. Man accused of gunning down a health insurance executive in a brazen hit in New York pleaded not guilty Monday to state charges including terror and murder. Greenland says it's not for sale after Donald Trump suggested he wanted the United States to take control of the strategic island that holds major mineral and oil reserves. Is it bad? I hope they get it. I'd like to vacation in Greenland. Not that I couldn't anyway, but as a guy that's been to Iceland and flown over Greenland in the process thereof, I wouldn't mind seeing, Nunavik, whatever the heck it is. UK bans record number of offenders from booze for Christmas because God knows this alcoholic. I'm a recovering alcoholic. If you ban me from getting liquor, I'll tell you what, you're going to stop me dead in my tracks. There's no way on God's green earth that I couldn't. Oh wait, no, that's not true. I used to joke when I was drinking and drugging that you could drop me on the friggin' moon, and you better believe by nighttime I'd have my party materials. And that is not I'm telling you, I could. When I was full on, whatever you put in front of me, whatever you could plant me anywhere, desert island, I would have the materials to get messed up in the head by evening. So yeah, great job, UK. I'm sure they won't drink that night. NYC subway burns suspect is illegal migrant from Guatemala who snuck into the U.S. Imagine that. New York Cardinal Timothy Dolan said in an interview that President-elect Trump takes his Christian faith seriously. I hope so. President-elect Trump is having second thoughts about Mike Johnson as Speaker. Imagine that after that wonderful debt showdown. NASA's pioneering Parker Solar Probe is poised to make its closest ever approach to the sun on Christmas Eve, a record-setting 3.8 million miles, or 6.2 million kilometers from the surface. Netanyahu says he's ordered Israeli forces to destroy Houthi infrastructure. They're going to be going hard on them. Biden administration withdraws student loan forgiveness plans from CNBC. CIA docs claim that life did exist on Mars, and it was a population of very large people who built pyramids, or as my daughters would call them, big backs. Jeffrey Lundquist, thank you so much. Trump threatens invasion and occupation of the Panama Canal. Panama's President Jose Raul Molina has responded, quote, every square meter of the Panama Canal and the surrounding area belongs to Panama and will continue to belong so. List of countries in Europe that want cooperation and partnership with Russia is growing. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico, who survived an assassination attempt several months ago, meets Putin in Moscow over gas transit dispute. Are relations between Trump and Elon Musk deteriorating? No, they're not, but of course you got to have this whole thing. Says he's not going to be president. I'm safe. You know why? He can't be. He wasn't born in this country. And everything he says is true. Elon is not able to be president as it currently stands. Let's see. Zelensky tried to bribe Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico with $500 million euro in exchange for supporting Ukraine admission into NATO, Fico has revealed. $500 million euros for Zelensky now are a joke. Militants from the terror organization HTS, which now controls Syria, set fire to a Christmas tree in Homs that was put there by the previous Assad government. So it's cool that they're burning down Christmas trees because Assad put it there, right? Totally normal, folks. I'm going to get more into that here in a moment. Iran plagued by energy crisis, partially caused by strikes attributed to Israel or outdated and underfunded energy sector problems, further compounded by depleted gas reserves caused by attack on two major pipelines back in February. So that's according to the Times of Israel. Trump has named 5 picks for Pentagon jobs. He named billionaire investor Steven Feinberg as a pick for Deputy Defense Secretary. Feinberg has no previous Pentagon experience, but has been a major financial backer of Trump's presidential campaign. He's also tapped Eldridge Colby for Undersecretary for Policy, Duffy for Undersecretary for Acquisitions and Sustainment, Emil Michael for Undersecretary of Research and Engineering, and Keith Bass for Assistant Secretary for Health Affairs. Colby, who served in the Pentagon during Trump's first term, has said that he does not support Ukraine's membership in NATO, but does endorse increasing sanctions against Russia. President Trump publicly commits to designating Mexican cartels as foreign terror organizations. There is a real ramp up to possibly have a bit of a soft invasion, as they are calling it, into Mexico to go in and to just jack these cartels up. It will be very interesting to see if that's what happens. French troops are leaving Chad after the African country announced at the end of the defense accord with France. Joe Biden has commuted 37 of 40 federal death row sentences to life without parole. The people that were not commuted were Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the Boston Marathon bomber, Robert Bowers, the Pennsylvania synagogue shooting, and Dylan Roof, the Charleston church shooting. They're excluded from the commutations. President Trump and his team are reportedly debating how much to invade Mexico once he takes office. It's coming. That's the thing. I'm going to be doing a video on PrepperNow for this. I love how people think that everything is great and hunky-dory and we're just, God, we're all good. Everything is fantastic. No, it does not matter. We are in a world of problems that are going on currently. Election lawsuits are underway in New Mexico, North Carolina, and Tennessee as candidates have claimed irregularities and fraud in last month's elections. Oh, come on, man. Best elections ever. Starbucks is being hit with a class action lawsuit accusing of deceiving customers by marketing products containing chemicals, artificial colors, and flavors as healthy options. I put a video over on the PrepperNow Subscribestar and PrepperNow Locals that details the amount of glyphosates that are in Dunkin' Donuts food. And let me tell you, holy Lord, you might want to reconsider your breakfast options. They did a full-on diagnostic scientifically, and it is not good. YouTube has been effectively blocked in Russia with access now only available through paid VPNs. Come on, Russia. Ukrainian officials speaking to Washington Post, peacekeeping force is not an acceptable consolation prize for not being in NATO. A ceasefire without a long-term objective would give Russia an opportunity to replenish its military ranks and weapon stocks and invade Ukraine again in a few years. Latest situation in map in Yemen by Clash Report. Since September 2024, the United States has conducted 51 airstrikes, while Israel has executed 6 airstrikes targeting Houthi forces. The airstrikes are likely to increase in the coming days, and that's absolutely correct. North Korea is reportedly preparing to deploy additional troops to Russia and supply kamikaze UAVs, according to South Korea's Yonhap news agency citing intelligence. North Korea demonstrated UAVs resembling Russian Lancet and Israeli Harop in recent footage. Germany has announced a new military aid package for Ukraine. Package includes 2 Patriot air defense launchers, 2 Iris-T air defense missiles or systems, and 15 Leopard 1A5 tanks. Netanyahu says, "Our attack on Yemen will not be the last. We will continue to destroy the Iranian axis of evil." It's coming. Real story behind Russian military equipment transfer from Syria to Libya by Clash Report says that Russia is reportedly transferring weapons from Syria to Libya for Sudan's rapid support forces, including guided munitions and heavy weaponry. RSF killed civilians with these weapons, plans to supply MiG-29 aircraft to the group. Also been discussed, UAE is financing the scheme. Excuse me. So maybe they'll be putting a port over there on the Sudan side of things. Israeli Defense Minister Israeli Katz says we will do to Sana'a and Hodeida what we did to Gaza, Lebanon, and Tehran. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said that Putin is engaging in hybrid attacks, explained that these attacks aim not only to cause damage, but also to destabilize society and manipulate public opinion. Pistorius emphasized the need for Germany to actively confront such threats, which include assaults on infrastructure, energy resources, and violations of airspace, as well as subversive activities in North and Baltic seas. U.S. military estimates that Iran is preparing to carry out a significant attack against Israel before the inauguration of President-elect Trump. North Korea is preparing to deploy additional troops and weapons, including Kurd. Italian Prime Minister warns that Russia's threat to Europe is much wider than we imagine. Russia's threat to Europe extends beyond defense to illegal immigration and cybersecurity. Maloney said on December 22nd during an international meeting in Finland, it's about our democracy, it's about influencing our public opinion, it's about what happens in Africa, it's about raw materials, it's about the instrumentalization of migration. We need to know it's a very wide idea of security. News sources claim that Chinese company Polytechnologies has received a heavy order from the country's military to produce and deliver 1 million drones with a delivery deadline set for 2026. This order is said to be strong indication that China may be preparing for an attack on Taiwan. Russia is building aircraft shelters at Belbek Air Base in Crimea. Satellite images show the construction of at least 10 reinforced concrete arched shelters and lighter structures at the Belbek Air Base. Norway extended its support for Ukraine beyond 2030 with a record 3 billion euros for 2025. Funds will be split between military and civilian aid, with Norway emphasizing its commitment to assist Ukraine both during and after the war. They are getting tens of billions of dollars. If you think for 1 second that things are winding down in that portion of the world, you are mistaken. Massive protests in Cairo. People are demanding the overthrow of current President Egypt, al-Sisi. People are chanting the famous Arab Spring slogan in the streets. Now, This is kind of being fomented. From what I have seen, there's a lot of images from past Arab Springs, and they're putting them out there. And there was a post saying that another Middle Eastern country could see a bit of a coup, and we're beginning to wonder if this is exactly what's going on in Egypt. Trump plans to sign an executive order to close the borders and mass deport January 20th, 2025. We shall see. North Korea is preparing to rotate its troops in Russian territory, increase numbers, expand range of weapons. We are talking about heavy artillery and modern drones recently presented by Kim Jong-un, according to Yonhap. There's video of a Russian soldier using one of the weapons that the North Koreans had. He said it's, God, how much was it? 15 kilograms. And it just, I mean, it looks like a clunky POS. So it's pretty interesting. The guy was like, yeah, I don't know how you can fight a war with this thing, but evidently they're trying to do it. Iranian-backed Houthis threaten to destroy Israel's Dimona nuclear facilities. Wonderful. Ex-Muslims claim Germany Christmas market attacker Talib Abdul Jawad isn't ex-Muslim and was using the Islamic concept of taqiyya to hide his identity. Interesting. Basically, there's a concept of taqiyya where they come off as if they are nice and happy and, you know, not super Muslim, but below the surface, they are all doing the deeds of pushing an agenda to promote more of that religion. So you will believe what you will believe. UK socialists, net zero plans will create 170,000 jobs in China. Great job, guys. AfD party leader Alice Weidel has overtaken Friedrich Merz as the most popular candidate for chancellor ahead of the upcoming elections in Germany, according to the latest poll conducted by Research Institute, INSA for Die Bild. Elon's XAI has raised $6 billion in Series C funding, partnering with, who's that? Is that BlackRock, Larry Fink, Sequoia Capital, and others? Oh, wow. It's a big club, and you're not in it. Qatar will stop liquefied natural gas deliveries to the EU if strict enforcement of a new European law begins. Energy Minister Saad Al-Kaabi stated this for the Financial Times. Law in question, the Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive, or CSDDD, requires companies to address issues like exploitation, modern slavery, environmental damage, and human rights violations in their supply chains. Yeah, Qatar ain't dealing with that. Foreign Ministry of Israel, Gideon Sa'ar, considers the return of Donald Trump to the White House as a great opportunity for Israel. Gideon refers to that as Trump may legalize further Israeli occupation zones in Syria. U.S. was the only nation in the world to recognize the occupied Golan Heights as Israeli territory. Next 4 years are not going to be good for the Middle East, as he says. When Hamas and the Israeli delegation was close to signing a ceasefire agreement, Netanyahu ordered the Israeli delegation to not sign it and added new demands. Netanyahu randomly stated that our borders will never be threatened again, and he also states that no terror will ever concentrate their forces near Israeli borders ever again, and that Israel is the face of change in the Middle East. Ergo, he was boasting his own ego for 20 minutes, and then he states he will not discuss the details and further negotiations. Netanyahu emphasis that Iran under no circumstances should have a nuclear weapon or would be a threat to the Jewish state. Israeli Defense Minister boasts his ego, saying that we caused the collapse of the Syrian government and we will strike the Houthis hard. Ukraine is developing a missile capable of reaching Moscow. Economist reports 2025 mass production of 3,000 missiles expected. Over 10 missile projects are in development, some completed. One project, the Trembita, has a base model with a 200-kilometer range and a speed of 400 kilometers an hour. Work is undergoing on more powerful versions capable of reaching Moscow. Because, you know, everything's going to just wrap up nice little bow in 2025. New York Times reports that the idea of sending North Korean troops to Russia came from Kim Jong-un, not Russia. Intelligence from the U.S. concluded it was North Korea's initiative, and Putin accepted. According to the report, North Korea has yet to receive anything in return for the support and remains hopeful for further rewards such as technology and diplomatic backing against the West. The United States has urged its citizens to leave Belarus immediately and has updated its travel advisory to level 4, do not travel status, due to existing dangers for Americans, official website of the U.S. Department of State says. So that's an interesting development. And what's going on over there in the eastern portions of Europe? Well, the Russian armed forces were able to capture the village of Storozhev in the direction of Velika Novosilka over the past few days. According to some Ukrainian sources, Ukrainian ground troops remain in the southern village of Markivka, which is currently surrounded. Velika Novosilka is almost completely encircled following recent Russian territorial gains. Ukrainian sources confirm the Russians are advancing from the village of Zelenivka in the northwest of the direction of the village of Rozaliv. The capture of Rozaliv would block a supply route into Konstantinopol in the direction of Pokrovsk. The Russians succeeded in capturing the first road in Novovasilivka in the Kursk region. Geolocalized images show that Russians have captured the village of Cherkasskaya Konopelka. Russians are also advancing in the direction of Malaya Lokhnia. So there you go. I'm sure you're familiar with all those places. Biden advisor urges Trump to put pressure on Putin. Says in the past the Russian president has shown a willingness to make deals when he felt some pressure. I think Trump needs to continue that. In that case, an agreement can be reached. That's according to Sullivan, Jake the Snake. He also said the withholding aid from Ukraine could cause long-term harm to the U.S. interests. National Security Advisor, he has already advised to the point that the conflict does not stop. Zelensky is ruining Ukrainians every day and does not want to negotiate. And Sullivan's boss, Biden, will lose his seat, which with such assistance, you do not need enemies. That's the Eastern perspective on our current politics in the White House. Former President Bill Clinton admitted to the hospital for testing and observation after developing a fever. I believe he'll be going home tomorrow for Christmas and is on the mend. NTSB has opened an investigation into an accident involving unmanned aircraft systems that malfunctioned and struck individuals at a holiday show in Orlando, Florida on Saturday. Can you imagine you're at a holiday flow and all of a sudden these drones start attacking you? Incoming FCC Chairman Brendan Carr sends a letter. This is what I referenced last night on PrepperNow. Now I get it. He sent a letter to the CEO of Disney, former ABC, telling him Americans no longer trust the national news media to report fully accurately and fairly. You know, I get a lot of flack here. I will never get any algorithmic love. Nothing I do is going to get pushed or promoted. And the reason why is because Tube and these big mega people like ABC and Fox and stuff have a deal that they're the only places where you should get news. Well, as you and I both know, that is absolutely stupid. They do not tell you the truth. They tell you exactly the amount they want you to know and the way they want you to know it. And that's what we don't do here. I put it all out here. Think of the Elon Musk. Am I sucking off Elon Musk because he helped Trump get into office? No, because he's taken $6 billion from, BlackRock and Larry Fink, who I think should get chucked to another planet. Trump, I want to hold his feet to the fire. Yeah, I'm happy he's in there more than Biden. I am. But guess what? He better produce, and it better not be foreign escapades and a lot of the other crap. I don't care who it is. I have one sovereign, that is the Lord Jesus Christ, and that is it. Everybody else is a man, and they better freaking produce. Do not go at human beings like a cult, folks, okay? Hold every single one of them to absolute disdain and questioning, and as Reagan said, trust but verify. Multiple bird flu cases detected across England. 20 to 25,000 people have gathered in an anti-immigration rally in Magdeburg and laid candles and flowers at the site of the terror attack there. Nearly 2,000 American CEOs resigned in 2024, setting a new record. What do they know? California has reported its first human case of H5 bird flu in Los Angeles County connected to the livestock exposure. U.S. has decided to increase activity against Houthis, tells the Post, during high-level discussions within Israel's political and security leadership. Mossad chief reportedly called for direct strike on Iran following the Houthi attacks. U.S. has decided to increase its activity against Yemen's Houthis. Sources told the Jerusalem Post on Sunday the decision has been made in recent days after the U.S. policy for actions against the Houthis in the last year was deemed insufficient. Reports that the UAE-backed Southern Transitional Court, or STC, has launched a surprise attack on southern Taiz region. Houthi-controlled heavy clashes in Al-Janad, southwestern Yemen. These are areas where there's a little bit of a gray area on the northwest and southeast portions of Yemen. Social media networks affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood and Iranian state media claimed over the past hour that mass protests were taking place against al-Sisi in Egypt. However, so far it appears to be nothing but old videos, which some locals in Alexandria, Cairo, and Luxor confirmed to us. It is important to note, since 2013 counter-revolution in Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood and its Ikhwani leaders, which are classified as terror, moved to Turkey, where they have enjoyed a wide support from both Turkey and Iranian governments. Well, interesting. Turkey's back, folks. Turkey's back. Back again. Erdogan is not playing around, folks. Yemen fires ballistic missiles tonight at Tel Aviv. Intercepted. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano has erupted again, getting a spewed column of lava. Russian sentences U.S. man Gene Spector to 15 years in prison for espionage. Tice is also still getting worked through. Russia says cargo ship Ursa Major is sunk in Mediterranean after an explosion on board. Interesting things there. We'll get into that. Man finds a bear in living room in Japan and readies a license to kill. If there's a bear in your living room, you should kill it. A North Korean hacking group stole cryptocurrencies worth over $300 million from Japan-based exchange DMM Bitcoin, according to Japanese police and FBI. Americans Airlines has grounded all flights due to a technical issue. FAA has issued a nationwide ground stop at the start of Christmas Eve. I don't know where we are currently in this whole thing, but you want to talk about a fustercluck. Iran Cyberspace Council votes to lift the ban on WhatsApp state app. That and Google Play are going to be back in Iran. I wonder why. Something's brewing. Trump blasts Biden over death sentence commutations. NASA's pioneering Parker Solar Probe made history Tuesday, flying closer to the sun than any other spacecraft with its heat shield exposed to scorching temperatures of more than 1,700 degrees Fahrenheit or 930 degrees Celsius. Energy crisis in Iran. Iran plans to slash fuel subsidies, cut monthly distribution from 87 million to 42.5 million liters, and raising prices. Subsidized fuel will increase from 15,000 to 20,000 rials per liter, while semi-subsidized rates jump to 80,000 rials. Plan also limits allocations to 15 liters per person and tightens vehicle quotas. This comes amid soaring living costs, falling currency, and energy shortages, with mixed government signals fueling public anxiety. Russian cargo ship Ursa Major, used to transport weapons and equipment from Syria, sank in international waters between Spain and Algeria after an engine room explosion. Convenient. According to El Español, 14 crew members were rescued while 2 remain missing. Ship was part of the Syria Express convoy tasked with evacuating Russian military assets. Israel's brutality and war crimes by IDF operating in Gaza. Here's some of the quotes of Haaretz. Haaretz is the left-leaning Israeli newspaper. Quote, "It's like a drug. You feel like you're the law. You make the rules. It's from the moment you leave the place called Israel and enter the Gaza Strip, you are God. I felt like a Yahtzee. It looked exactly like we were Exactly, the Yahtzees, and they were the JASE. I saw sadistic people there, people who enjoy causing suffering to others. What was most disturbing was to see how easily and quickly ordinary people can detach themselves. Dehumanization scared me. The encounter with such dangerous attitudes, which has become more normal in our society, was traumatic for me. That is Haaretz, Israeli newspaper. Israel's foreign minister directs European diplomatic missions to push for the Houthis to be designated as a terror organization. Reports indicate renewed clashes in Yemen as fighting resumes between the Houthis and the Saudi and UAE-backed Yemeni government in northern Taiz province. Israeli Defense Minister Katz says we will target Houthi leaders in Sana'a and across Yemen. We will not tolerate continued Houthi missile attacks on Israel. Hossein Salami, the commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, this morning said the Revolutionary Guards are so powerful because they are connected to divine power. I dare say that no global power is capable of confronting the Revolutionary Guard on sea, land, or air. Syria is about to become a Sharia law country, as per the statement of faith of the HTS rebels group that took control of this country. Wait a second. I thought they're all international and normal people. Trump's future national security advisor, Mike Waltz, is worried about the prospects of nuclear weapons proliferation. Quote, if Iran gets nuclear weapons, Saudis will want nuclear weapons. Turks will want nuclear weapons. If nuclear weapons are even used regionally, it will be a disaster for the entire world. Translation, we need to go in and take out Iran now. Yeah. Read between the lines, folks. Turkey acts the same as the Ottoman Empire, but is already in an official recession, 2 negative quarters. Lira devaluation is rapid. It's over 35 liras to the U.S. dollar. Within a year, that's lost 20.5%, and within 5 years, 500%. The interest rate is 50%, and inflation is 47%. I guess the Sultan needs a war to revive his country economy. That is correct. And take a look at that, because I'm sure it would never happen to America. Prime Minister Netanyahu, the Israeli operation in Yemen is neither the first nor the last. New defense pact signed between Turkey and HTS says Turkish armed forces are expected to withdraw from Idlib. Turkey will establish 2 large military bases in the vicinity of the city of Homs and equipped with air defense systems. And Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan emphasized that this move is a preemptive step against Israeli airstrikes. Almost seems like Israel and Turkey are a little bit of an odds at the old Syrian equation. IDF has completed its preparations for a strike on Iran. Very tense days ahead of us. Thank you, Amir. He can't say it unless he's trying to telegraph it for the Israeli government. So there you go. Prime Minister Netanyahu's testimony in court was paused just to a top secret note handed to him, requiring his immediate attention. Court session will resume after the security consultation. British Times, Iran is planning an airlift of weapons to Hezbollah in Lebanon, making Beirut the new military center instead of Damascus. The newspaper writes that Iran is preparing to rearm Hezbollah in Lebanon with the aim of helping the organization recover from the damage it suffered in the war with the IDF. At the same time, the possibility of transferring weapons to Hezbollah by sea is being examined. Iran is already transferring huge sums of money to rebuild Hezbollah. Katz from Israel, we will target Houthi leaders in Sana'a and across Yemen. We will not tolerate continued Houthi missile attacks on Israel. Poland has begun testing a 3-stage ballistic missile that will reach Moscow from the Polish territory in just a few minutes. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban says the war in Ukraine will end in 2025. Either it will end in peace or it will end with warring parties being destroyed. Mossad agent explains how the Western world is under their boot. Quote, we create a pretend world. We're a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage. So now you know who the president is. $20 million in taxpayer dollars were spent on Sesame Street puppets showing in Iraq. That's wonderful. American Airlines halts the flights across the U.S. on Christmas Eve due to a technical fault on their system. Latest in the SMO, Ukrainian armed forces are suffering defeat after defeat along the entire front line. Past 24, Russian armed forces carried out a series of successful offensives, resulting in breakthroughs on several sectors of the front. In Syria, the crisis is escalating. Reports have emerged that pro-American proxies attacked pro-Turkish proxies and managed to push them out of several positions in the area of Manbij. News from the multicultural world of Syria. Well, Central Asian fighters have burned the Christmas tree. They've ravaged a monastery and destroyed a cemetery. What's that? It's not all nice and new and modern and pro-religion. No, it's not. Christmas tree was set on fire in the Christian town of Sakalabia and the province of Hama. Christian monastery from the 3rd century in Saidnia, as well as the adjacent cemetery, were also damaged. New government shrugs its shoulders. Foreign fighters, mainly from Central Asia, act and do not obey orders not to attack Christians because they don't care. Next year, Ukraine will receive about 30 billion euros from the EU and will decide for itself what part of these funds will be spent on defense, according to European Commissioner Kubilius. And according to him, Europe is developing a new mechanism thanks to which the Ukrainian military-industrial complex will be integrated into the European defense industry. FedEx driver has been arrested after police claim he dumped packages in a forest because he was running late on his route. It is just not Christmas unless one of these FedEx or USPS people takes a crap load of packages and throws them into the woods because they're not making their time as well as possible. Yeah. Merry Christmas, folks. That's your crisis report for Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2024. God bless you all. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends. And like I said, go check out the Festivus report from Mr. Rand Paul if you'd like to see about all the wonderful things that we're spending money on, like Sesame Street in Iraq, because God knows that's important. Yeah, it's a big crap sandwich, and we're all going to take a bite. Trust no one, and do everything you can to prepare and prep, because I got some bad news for you. It's not getting better. It's getting worse, okay? That doesn't mean you can't have an enjoyable holiday. It doesn't mean you can't, get prepped and do all the things. We're going to be doing a little bit of a reason to prep in 2025 video on PrepperNow here in a moment, and we hope you will watch that. I'll set that up for a stream, and then we'll be shutting down for the holiday there. And of course, if you'd like to join us online, you can join us at Subscribestar and Locals for a few dollars a month. I'm sure I'll be populating there all for the next 24. That's kind of where I tend to go on these long holidays. And of course, there is becoming a member here, like Gene W. and Mr. Jeffrey Lindquist, who was very gracious and tipped me $5. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, we got a lot going on here on the Prepper Now and Crisis Report. We've been getting a lot more heavy flack from the tube lately, which tells me that we are doing it right. Okay? If they suppress the crap out of you, you're doing it right. That's what I've learned in 5 years on YouTube. I am not here to make you think anything. I do this news the way I would want news for me. I want everything, and I want it succinct in about 30 to 45 minutes. I want you to go through it. I want you to read it off. I don't need to be told some super analytical 35-minute one thing on one little topic. I want to go boom, 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 and I want to know everything in 30 to 45 minutes. You know why? Because you're smart enough. You can handle it. You have the intelligence to make your own decisions. Sure, I'm going to give a little bit of analysis like, oh, well, they're getting ready to attack Iran because they think they're going to get a nuclear weapon soon, and it'll open the door to that whole thing. You've got the intelligence for all that. You're smart. You can do it. I'm not here to tell you what to think or anything. I'm going to tell you all the things to think about. That is the Crisis Report, and you can get it for free, folks. We've got almost 500 people that get it for free on Crisis Report. That is substack.com, preppernow.substack.com. That is where you get it. Comes right to your inbox. If you want to be cool and tip like a few of the people, I get some people that pay for it because their option is there, but you can get it all for free. I don't care. As I've said many times on the Crisis Report, I'm the product. I get the intel, I put it out there, and you guys use your brains from there, okay? Please hit that like button. Please do the subscribe thing if you're new here. And please have a wonderful holiday. Be good to each other. Go do something randomly kind for people. Smile. Say Merry Christmas, as in Christ the King. Okay? And keep prepping, folks. Okay? God bless you all. We'll see you maybe tomorrow night. If not, definitely another one of these nooners on Thursday. Okay? God bless. We'll see you.